Hello everyone, welcome to Gogetmyguru. Let's continue our series on Python interview questions and answers. So the first question for today's session is list out the difference between array and list in Python. So we have already discussed lists in Python and arrays in Python and how to make use of them in programming. So what exactly is the difference between these two? Let's see. List can hold elements of different data types. When it comes to array holds elements of same data type. And the second major difference is lists are part of Python syntax, hence they doesn't need to be imported from the module, whereas to use array we have to import arrays from array module. And the third difference is mathematical functions cannot be directly applied on list and arrays can handle mathematical operations directly. And the last difference is list consumes more memory, arrays are compact compared to list. So let's see these differences with an example. We have a list of details of a person, let's say. So this list contains name of a person, his age and gender. So this is how we define a list. When we print this list, we will get no errors because list can have heterogeneous type of data. When we are going to make use of arrays in programming, we have to import that from array module. So from array import. So now we can make use of array in our programs. So let's say whenever we create an array, let's say we have an array of marks. So what we will do, we will make use of array and then we'll make use of type code. So this type code itself tells you that array can hold only similar type of data. So here we are creating an array to hold integer value. So let's say marks are, so these are marks. Let's print this array. So when we run these two codes, list is printed properly as well as array has also printed properly. So we also said that mathematical operations cannot be directly applied on list. So whenever we want to do mathematical operations on list, we need to go for loops and then access each element from that loop and perform mathematical operations. Whereas in arrays, by importing array from NumPy module, we can directly perform mathematical operations on arrays. And also, lastly, we have said that list consumes more memory whereas array is compact than list because whenever a list is created, extra memory is allocated to append items to the list. That doesn't happen in array. I hope you are clear with difference between array and list. Let's move on to the second question. What is pass statement in Python? So we have already seen this. So why exactly we use pass? As the name itself suggests. So let's see. Pass statement in Python acts as a placeholder for future code. So pass statement results in no operation and avoids error. Let's check that. So to understand the usage of pass statement, let's define a function food, and when I run this code, I have not defined any body for that function. So it gives an error telling that expected an indented block. So how we can correct this error? To correct this error, simply I can make use of pass statement here. So now you can see that there is no error and no operation has been performed because we have not defined any body for that function. Pass statement is telling that though I have not defined body for this function, you just pass this function. Don't give any errors. So in future we may write code in the body of this function. Let's move on to next question. So what is the difference between args and quarks in Python? So args tells arguments and quarks is for keyword arguments. So both args and quarks both are used to pass variable number of arguments to function. That means whenever we doesn't have fixed number of arguments, we can make use of these args and quarks. So args stands for non-keyword argument and quark stands for keyword argument. I hope all of you know how to implement these in functions. Let's recap once again. So let's define a same function food, and I'll make use of variable number of arguments here, that is asterisk args. What this function will do is this function simply prints args. Now let's call this function food. I have different food items, comma dal. So these are the food items I have. What this function should do is this function should take the food items and print those food items. So when I run this, I'll get all the food items in the function. So this is the use of making use of arg. So this was for args. Now let's understand what is quarks, that is keyword argument. So let's take the same food function here and let's say we will define items. So we don't know how many items are we are going to pass to this function. So that time we can make use of this keyword argument. What we will do is we will print these items. So now let's call this function food. Item 1 is equal to, let's say we have rice, comma, item 2 is equal to, we have dal. Item 3 is equal to, we have chicken. So how this quarks will be printed? It will be printed in the form of dictionary, which will be having key and value pairs. So now here you can observe that these items are printed in the form of key value pairs. Let's move on to the next question. So what is an anonymous function? As the name itself tells, anonymous is without having name. Function which is defined without name is called anonymous function, and in Python lambda function is called anonymous function. So lambda function can take any number of arguments but can have only one expression. So how we can make use of lambda function in programming? I hope all of you have followed our videos and by now you might be knowing how to make use of this lambda function. So before understanding the usage of lambda function, let's consider a simple function to calculate cube of a number. So define cube. So this function should do calculate cube of number. So let's say return. So now let's call this function cube of 5. So we have to print this function as well. So when we print this, we should get the cube of 5. Let's check that. So we have got 125. Now let's make use of lambda function and see how we can calculate the cube of a number using lambda function. So cube is equal to lambda a colon a into a and print this cube. Now cube of same value will take 5. So here you can see that this is doing the same function as the normal function we defined. So we have used lambda function and we did not give any name for that. So that's why it is called as anonymous function. So the next question is, what are docstrings? So in Python, docstrings are strings which are written after the definition of class, methods or function. So what does this mean? This means that when we define a function or method or a class, immediately after that we will provide a string. So that string is called as docstring. So why we use this docstring? So it is used to document a specific segment of code. The next question comes is, can we access this docstrings? Yes, of course we can access these docstrings using doc attribute. So let us consider the same function. As we have discussed, docstrings are defined immediately after the function definition. So here we have defined a function cube. So always docstrings are defined in triple quotes. And for what we are using this function, that is mentioned in docstring or it is documented. So this function takes a number and returns cube. So this is the docstring we have written. So we can print this docstring as well using doc attribute. So print cube dot doc. So when I run this, you can see here that docstring got printed. that is takes a number and return Q. So we use docstring to mention what this block of code is doing or segment of code is doing. I hope you guys are clear with the question and answers we have discussed today. Hope you are enjoying learning with us. Request you to like our videos to support us. Leave us a feedback in the comment section. Have you subscribed to our channel? If not, request you to click on subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive regular updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next session. Keep coding. Happy learning.